Today's episode of Pautzke Outdoors sure was an interesting one. We spent 5 full days filming across the state of Missouri. We hit all the trout parks, we hit some places that weren't trout parks. And when we got to Roaring River, it was the only 3 hours of our trip that it rained like heck. Now, as you can see, we are here in Zone 1, where no bait is allowed. That means you can't use our salmon eggs, you can't use anybody's dough bait, you can't use worms, you can't use crickets, you can't use anything that's real bait or baity, for example. However, there's many of alternatives that you can be using, and today we figured out how easy it was to use those when presented properly and have success here. That was our whole goal, to come here and show you guys how to catch fish. Now, we hope to do it on a sunny day where we could have flown the drone and got some really cool footage, but Mother Nature had other choices.
Just got to Roaring River. We're in Zone 1, so you got to fish artificials, and I got a fire egg on in glow. And I got one. Sweet looking buck. Look at that, glow fire egg. Oh, a double in the background. Oh my gosh, that's a nice one. Oh no, you lost your float.
It's on yellow.
Oh, fire egg.
A yellow fire egg.
God, there's some aggressive fish in here.
This is a sweet one. This is a sweet one. Nice.
Oh, he's out.
Oh. Teach your rod, man, buddy.
Sorry, thought I had him.
Yes.
That's a really good fish.
We got a lot of fire eggs in there.
Fire
right now.
eggs.
Obviously, there's a yellow and there's a glow.
Well, Roaring River just got here. Glow fire egg.
Hey guys, check this out. Yellow fire egg, we just got here. Tossed in. Bam, right away. This is a sweet little fish. I saw Jared
Another
snapping
nice
them,
rainbow.
so I had to switch up my bait. I put on a peach fire egg and right away, bam! Pretty nice one too. Yeah, buddy,
Yep.
thank you. Ooh, yeah, he's sweet.
That's
Look at that, peachy.
That's 3 colors of fire eggs we've used here
Gotta
to get 4 fish.
Keep switching it up.
This is nuts.
So, what I was saying earlier is we were fishing the slack outside of this current. We got a bunch of fish, but now we're fishing dead in the current, and they love it going by their face real fast. They just grab it right out of the current.
Another quality trout.
Dude, I'm still running the glow. You'd
Easy,
think,
buddy. Easy, buddy. Easy.
here, check this out. So, the thing is a lot of people think the glow is made for night fishing only. No way. No way.
Chomp, chomp.
It's got a good look to it in the daytime too. All right, I want to cover my rig for the Roaring River. And that all starts with the Pautzke fire float. And if you look closely, you'll see it has a slot in the float and a black stem that pulls right out. And the way that it works is you take your line and your line actually goes into that. So let me show you here. Just got to get it situated. So your line goes into that stem, into that slot, sorry. And then what pins your line in there is this stem. So you put that in like that, push down until it gets a little pressure. That's how the fire float goes on your line. So super easy to get the float on your line. And then that goes down to a swivel and a small split shot to give it some weight, which then takes you to we have 6-pound fluorocarbon leader. Super important for this clear spring-fed water. The fish are finicky in here. They see a lot of pressure. So I would highly recommend not skipping this step and tying a hook on straight below your float. Put on a swivel, go to 6-pound or even 4-pound fluorocarbon. You'll see I have another small split shot on my leader. What I do with that is to help get the bait down a little bit further. And just as important, we've got a Pautzke fire hook. This is a size 14. We also use a size 10 today with the fireworms. I'll show you that in a little bit here too. But this size 14 fire hook is also imperative for success because it's about the size of the salmon eggs and the fireballs and things like that. And we switched up our baits a lot. So one of the first ones that we used is the fire eggs. And I started with this clear glow, still garlic scented. And this is heavily overlooked because it's the glow option. It's newer, but you'd think that glow you only use in the nighttime, but it actually looks really good in the daytime too. And I think in them deep, darker blue water holes, it really shows up nice. It also resembles like a dead egg, really foggy, milky egg in the water, and the trout really like it. The way that you hook this on is super important because this is very elastic and it's really tough. So if you just bury the hook in it like a normal salmon egg, you'll lose a lot of fish. So what I like to do is just hook it a little bit on the edge, just enough to kind of go through the skin there like that. And it will stay on incredibly well, leaves enough of the hook exposed to have a really good hookup ratio. And the last thing that I do when I'm running these fire eggs, a little bit different from the salmon eggs, is I take that small split shot that's on my leader and I'll slide that down just a little bit further than normal. It helps get this fire egg down in the water a little bit better. It's kind of a little bit more like neutrally buoyant in the water, kind of like how those crankbaits come when you get like a suspending crankbait. So running this down a little bit more helps get it down. Whereas when we're running like a fireball or a salmon egg, I'll slide that up a little bit higher.
Oh my gosh. Guys, I literally was just giving Jared some line. I had my line dangling in the water. I just switched to a pink fire egg and he must have just grabbed it and yanked
You're not
up.
kidding.
There
Where is the...
There, you got that net, buddy? Oh, right.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, you're good? Check.
Well, I guess the pink one works too, huh?
Yeah.
We've now caught them on 4. Yeah, you can see it. We've now caught them on, you got 4 different colors, right?
Yep.
You started with orange. No, you started with peach.
Yeah, just kept on switching, keep on switching, getting bites.
Let the fish tell us what works. That's one of the smaller ones, and there's nothing wrong with that fish.
Oh, it's out like that.
There we go. See you, buddy. Go home.
I just moved over and switched over to this little back end. He had a couple of fish in it. First cast, look at this. Pink fire egg. Not a bad one either, it's pretty big.
It's a nice one, dude.
Yeah, it is. Wow, yeah,
That's
solid, man. That's solid. It's a tank. Guys, this just shows you, if you switch up baits, you'll get bit. Look at that fire egg.
We used 2 different fireballs throughout zone 1 today. So we've got garlic chartreuse. Let me actually turn this so you can see it a little better. And then check this out. So this is another really good color, red. Get those side by side here. And I was mostly running these, and then Thane was running the garlic chartreuse, and we were catching the same amount of fish. It was super effective. So you'll see they're pretty small in comparison to that hook, and that's why that fire hook's imperative. That light wire really helps with hooking this on. If you use a really big or heavy wire hook, then it makes it tough. And what you need to do is just put this on like the fire egg or like a salmon egg. Just get that hook in there. These stay on the hook really well, so you don't necessarily have to worry about them falling off really easily. At the same time, I do like to bury it a little bit more than the fire egg, because when you set the hook, it will actually just pull right through that fire egg pretty easily. Fireball. And then the garlic chartreuse, exact same thing, just a little bit different color. And again, you can just poke it right in there. Sorry, I know it's kind of hard to show on camera pushing the hook through, but just straight through. And what we were doing is we were just kind of working our way down zone 1 in all these different like riffles and fast water pockets. And we were running this float setup, and it was crushing fish. It was super effective.
Fireball! Fireballs!
Oh, it's a nice fish. Just switch to red fireballs.
Oh, we're going well. Fireball?
Oh, nice. Had 2 bites right before this. Got it back in there.
And you got the bonus branch. Bonus branch, and that's actually a really nice trout.
It is.
Really nice trout.
Now we're running through the fireballs, getting some really nice fish.
Woo! The chartreuse.
Fireball! He's a shaker. Come here, guy. Yeah. Oh, spotted up.
But I also want to cover how we fished fireworms. And there's a lot of different ways you can fish a bait like this. To start super simple, the exact same setup with the fire float and the weights. You can actually just do what they call wacky style, which is a term that's pretty familiar by bass fishermen, but you actually just hook straight through the worm in the dead middle. Same thing with the Pautzke fire hook. And what's really cool about that is when you pull through the water, it makes like a nice twitch, and the trout really love it. When you hook it in the middle, you have a better hookup ratio in my opinion too, because if you were to just hook it at the top and a trout grabs it at the back, you can miss them. So you get a better hookup ratio hooking it in the middle. And that's the way that Thane was fishing his fireworm today. I switched it up a little bit and went the jig head route. What I like to do when I run a jig head is I'll actually cut the fireworm just a hair, like a 1/2 inch. And that's not necessary, but it does help with short strikes when they grab the back of it, because your hook's kind of up this way. You can also wacky hook it with a jig head. You saw earlier when I was talking how it gives it that action with the weight in the water. But it is a really nice way to fish it here at the Roaring River, because a lot of these slots are very fast water, and it really helps get that fireworm down in the current and then give it that good action. And the trout have a hard time resisting that. And then the only difference would be is you would no longer run a fire hook, because your jig head has the hook built into it. So you would just bite off the fire hook and then tie on the jig head. And you can still run this exact setup with the fire float. Only difference being you're gonna wanna take off all this extra weight in the middle so you don't overload the bobber and it sinks on its own. The fire worm is similar to a lot of things that are available, but the difference being a few things. So number one, this is a thinner, skinnier worm, which I think allows for a better action in the water. Whereas if you go into different big chains or retailers, the worms will be much thicker, and honestly, I don't think it's as effective. But these are incredibly durable compared to the competitors as well. Like, these can literally just stretch and stretch and stretch and stretch and stretch. They just don't break, which means they also stay on the hook really well, but they maintain their shape as well. So if you're gonna go with the worm route, I would get a few different colors like pink and peach and the natural to change it up, but also the fireworm is just, in my opinion, way better than anything else that's available out there right now. So I made the switch up to a fireworm, but I did it in one of my favorite methods, and I basically put it on a jig head. I want to show you that. And you can see the jig head sticking out of this trout's mouth with the fireworm. And I just prefer that method because it gets really good action.
We started right up top, at the very top, and you guys are going, well, why is nobody there? Well, because it rained like heck and scared everybody away. And that's when we went fishing. Sure enough, the first hole, things were almost too easy with the fire eggs. You'll see them use the glow fire eggs. You'll see them use the pink. You'll also see them use the peach. All of the fire eggs work. Just a matter of presenting them properly, which Jarrett talked to you guys about. You've learned that by now and know very well. Now, all we did after catching 15 fish out of that hole in the first half hour was move downstream, where we focused on fireworms for a couple of holes. Now, amazingly enough, the least bought fireworm, which is the natural, looks like a real worm. Guys, so many people have figured out if you use this, you don't have to buy night crawlers. They're less messy. They look and they have the action of a real worm. Now, we also used pink, we used peach. All the colors work, like we said, when presented properly as well. Now, we moved further downstream and focused on using fireballs. Now, there's a lot of different colors that are here. Remember, these are allowed to be used here in Zone 1 because they're not real. They're imitation eggs that are scented. Now, we focused mostly on red and chartreuse anise, but historically, we've come here with different colors and done very well. Again, it's like we always tell you, no matter what you're going to use anywhere, if you present it properly and you have the right tackle, you'll do very well here at Roaring River and anywhere in the state of Missouri. Now, the interesting thing is we get a lot of complaints from people, guys, we can't find your stuff. Where are your fire hooks? Where are your fire floats? I got news for you. The park store is loaded with them. You can also find them at various dealers across the area, and sometimes Walmarts in Northwest Arkansas and in like Cassville and other parts of Missouri will have them. Also, if you have a Bass Pro or Cabela's, go there and you'll find these products there as well. Or you can go online and find them anywhere. Regardless, whatever you choose to use here in Zone 1, whether it's our product or somebody else's, present it properly and you too could have great success here catching rainbow trout in Roaring River. Pautzke products are available at sporting goods stores near you. If you can't find the specific color, size that you want, make sure to go to Pautzke.com. And as a thank you for watching Pautzke Outdoors, we're going to show you a coupon code to be used for 10% off your next order.